Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Sayyid Anwar Sahab, Hashmi Sahab. Our colleagues had asked me to present at this particular moment something about the way forward. Now I wonder what else I can suggest now after having so many good speeches in which everyone has outlined certain ideas, and particularly the last comment that Dr. Anwar made, that the real issue is to develop a working agenda, something tangible to come out of such seminars. Of course, I had noted this and we shall be doing that. But let me just recall that we had some 20 presentations, even more than that, 20 plus presentations today. And I'm glad that not many times it happens that each and every speaker keeps the watch before him or her and try to follow the rules that have been made for the session. And this is the reason that we had little time for discussion because it was planned like this, but we had a lot of material that is now available to us and we can make use of it for developing an agenda which may be called a working agenda. But let me also recall some of the thoughts or the streams of thought that were reminded me again and again throughout the day. First, what I said also in the morning, that I was not sure that what kind of response we shall be receiving when we started preparing for this seminar. And I can say with pleasure that it was overwhelming from all corners to whom we contacted, whether speakers, whether collaborators, whether other guests. This is something on which we feel that we need to build further. And now with almost 5 universities who have collaborated in this particular program, I'm just thinking that as far as the road ahead is concerned, we should try and collaborate seminars in each of these universities in order to take the message forward at a larger level. But this is not the only thing that universities who have collaborated. In fact, media has been emphasized again and again in this seminar. So when we talk about media, we are basically talking about the movers and shakers, about the people who are creating an environment where perceptions are built. So they are not confined to media only. Many other platforms are there, we shall have to go to them. At the same time, the thought that was reminded again and again, that it's a big ambition that we have before us, increasing or reviving the role of religions in fostering peace, harmony and justice. Because there are so many stakeholders in the world, and in fact, if we come to our own country or any other place, there are so many stakeholders and they are sitting on powerful positions. They are controlling the shots, and that means it's not an easy agenda that with 1 or 2 seminars or some other activities you can change the situation. So there is no shortcut. But once you have started doing things, the other thought was that the response that we have received and the way people are ready to collaborate from different religions, that means people are there to contribute and we should develop something to move on. I thought and I checked that there are now 10 plus universities who are offering the course of comparative religions. And I asked some of the teachers over there, and I found that there is nothing kind of a coordination between them, something to focus on, that when we are studying and teaching this, how can it make some difference towards the cooperation rather than just continuing with the status quo. So there is nothing like this until this moment. There are individuals who may be thinking on these lines and may be doing something on these lines. Of course, we will consider how to bring them on board and to motivate them for doing something which make their impact really tangible. We used to hold brainstorming research ideas sessions for students. And in those sessions, we try to motivate people to discuss before deciding any subject for their thesis. Discuss with seniors, with those who are genuinely interested in having some good research, rather than research paper that may provide them a kind of degree, and that's enough. So we shall be holding, of course, on themes that have been identified here, so that the students, not only of the comparative religion, in fact, the subject that we discuss today, or when we are discussing the role of religions, it is directly related to many other subjects. The religious studies, in whatever way they are being taught in Islamic studies even, of course. And then this political science, this international relations, sociology, anthropology, all these subjects have a space in which these kind of topics can be discussed, and of course we shall be focusing on them. This aspect of practical agenda, in fact, I noted one particular theme. There are many other, and we shall dig out from the proceedings. Love thy neighbor. I cannot recall any religion who may not have discussed this from their own perspective, that this is one of the basic teachings in our religion, and that means this needs an action agenda. How can really be good for our neighbors? So if we can hold such sessions in which such themes, specific themes can be discussed, and under that we can bring some kind of an agenda that how can you really be good with your neighbor, or the neighbor may be good for you. This may involve policies, this may involve legislation, this may involve teachings and workshops, creating awareness, etc., etc. A lot of things can be. So perhaps some themes out of this, and then we can develop an agenda. One thing I would like to emphasize, and taking benefit of this gathering, I was not present in the second session, but I benefited from all the speeches that were held here through internet. And I found a kind of echo that is prevailing all around the Pakistan in particular, and in fact in the world also, that a lot of bad is happening in Pakistan towards minorities. Now, Anwar Saab referred that it is not an exception in any country, and perhaps we all agree that there are issues all over the world. But I would always like to trigger your mind towards this question, that what kind of good is being done here in our country with the majority? If something is being done with a particular section of the society, while all other sections are happy, and while all other sections are being treated justly, then of course we can complain like that. In fact, this situation, this perception that we are victim, this perception requires to understand the larger picture. The larger picture in Pakistan is that there is an elite that has captured all decision making, all policies and implementation and execution. So if they are in one group or in another group, they belong to any religion, but if they are part of the elite, then they are getting benefit out of the system. And if they are not part of the elite, then they are victim. And that's why I always remind our friends that governance problems should be taken as governance problems, not because victim has a certain identity. If every victim has an identity, so if there is a victim, don't go for his identity, because in many cases it is not the identity because of which he has been or she has been treated badly. Of course, there are cases, some cases might be like that, but every case needs to be separately investigated instead of following the so-called media, social media that is there to exploit things in a particular direction. So just I thought I should share my this feeling that among the intellectuals, among the intellectual gatherings, this needs to be highlighted that the real conflict in our country or countries like Pakistan is not the individuals but the elite group who are making decisions and who are taking steps in their own benefits. And at the global level, the main stakeholder is the multinational companies. Now tell me, what is this industrial complex, military industrial complex? The day Israel attacked Iran, the sheer value of all the military industrial complex companies, it raised to several percent. Why? Because there was a chance of war, and that war means a lot of purchase will be made. So this is a business interest in having not justice, rather having injustice. And so keep this larger picture, that is something which is very relevant to subject. Multinationals is one thing, there are many other things. All the P5 countries, they are the largest sellers of arms, largest producers of arms. P5 countries who are required to establish peace all over the world. So our topic was religions today, so that's why we didn't go into such details. But that larger picture should not be forgotten. We don't have time, we are already ahead of time, over time. So I would like to once again thank, and I think Hashmi Saab will be invited for a vote of thanks. Thank you very much.